Hi guys, welcome to this session. Today I am going to discuss the third lesson of class 12th English textbook Flamingo. The lesson is titled as Deep Water and this lesson is written by William O. Douglas. Douglas was born on 16th October 1898 and he died on 19th January 1980. He was an American jurist and politician. He has the honor to serve as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. It is a great achievement on his part that he was confirmed as one of the youngest justices appointed to the Supreme Court. His term of 36 years and 209 days from 1939 to 1975 is the longest term in the history of Supreme Court. So his tenure is the longest tenure in the history of Supreme Court. So this is another achievement on his part. Deep Water. This lesson is autobiographical in nature. Entire lesson is presented in first person. The lesson gives us an account of narrator's own experience. The story tells how he overcame his fear of water. Actually, during his childhood, a misadventure had happened. On account of that misadventure, he was extremely fearful of water. But because of his strong determination and willpower, he successfully overcame his fear. Deep Water lesson also gives us a message. There is no fear in death, but the fear lies in the fear of death. We are always fearful. We know that death is an inevitable truth. It can't be denied. It can't be avoided. Yet we are always fearful of death. So fear lies in fear of death. In death there is no fear. Fear is there in the fear of death. This message is beautifully conveyed in this lesson. And one more message which is conveyed in this lesson is that if we have a sheer determination, if we have a strong willpower, we can achieve our goal. Nothing can stop us. The beginning of the lesson gives us an information about the narrator's aversion to the water. This aversion started when he was only 3 to 4 years old. He had gone to the beach of California with his father and he was holding his father. Suddenly a big wave came towards the beach and the wave knocked him down and swept over him. Narrator got buried in water. Now this is a natural thing. This is a natural thing. When someone walks on the beach, it is quite common that the wave from sea comes towards the beach and after some times it goes back. So this is a natural thing. But when father saw the child's reaction, when father saw that narrator has become fearful, he has become fearful, then he laughed. Father laughed. But writer had experienced the overpowering force of the waves. Writer had experienced that how powerful water is. He was buried in the water, his breath was gone, and so he was frightened. This created within him an aversion to the water. This event at the beach of California had occurred when he was merely 3 to 4 years old. But again, when narrator attained the age of 10 to 11 years, he decided to learn swimming. The place where he lived, in that place there was a river named Yakima. The river was deep and treacherous. The river was dangerous, and so the river was considered as an unsafe place for those who wants to learn swimming. And this is the reason why narrator wanted and he decided to learn swimming at the YMCA swimming pool. You can see here in this picture, you can see this is the picture of YMCA swimming pool. YMCA Young Men Christians Association swimming pool is an indoor swimming pool, and this is highly safe. This swimming pool is safe for those people who want to learn swimming. Its shallow end is only 2 to 3 feet deep, and the other end, the deeper end, that is also only 9 feet deep. The slope, the drop is gradual, it is not sudden. There were water wings and other safety devices also. So narrator decided that he will learn swimming in this YMCA swimming pool. Narrator's age was 10 to 11 years and he was not so healthy. His legs were thin and skinny, and so he never wanted to show his legs to anyone. But it was only his strong desire to learn swimming that he compromised to show his thin and weak legs. Initially, when he get into the pool, all his unpleasant memories and his childhood fear got revived, but gradually narrator gathered confidence. He paddled with his water wings, watched other boys swimming. There were other boys also who were swimming in the swimming pool. So narrator saw them and narrator tried to copy them. After some days, narrator began to feel comfortable in the water. So there was an improvement. Initially, when he had come here, he was fearful of water. When he get into the swimming pool, he remembered the old memories. He remembered the overpowering force of water which he had experienced at the beach of California. But after some days, he began to feel comfortable with the water, but suddenly a misadventure happened. Now see what misadventure happened at the YMCA swimming pool. One day, narrator reached YMCA swimming pool for his practice. When he reached there, he noticed that he was too early because no one was there. Narrator was afraid to go alone in the pool, so he sat on the side of the pool and waited for others to come. He thought that when other people will come, then he will get into the pool. After some time, a boy came who was nearly 18 years old. The boy was healthy and he had rippling muscles. The boy came near narrator. He picked narrator up and tossed him onto the deeper end. Narrator landed on the surface of the water in a sitting position and he began to go towards the bottom. He went towards the bottom and came up 3 times. But his experience during the first time, second time, and third time was different. Narrator has given a vivid description of his feelings and experiences of all the 3 times, and thus he had showed us how these experiences were different during each time. Now we will have a look on narrator's experience of going towards the bottom and coming up on all the 3 times. This question generally comes in exam, that how narrator's experience for the first time and second time when he was going towards the bottom was different than that of the third time. So here separately we will see that what was narrator's experience, how he felt when he was going towards the bottom for the first time, second time, and third time. So see, for the first time, narrator was frightened but not out of wits. Narrator was frightened, he was fearful. When he was thrown in the swimming pool by that boy and he began to go towards the bottom, he was fearful, but his mind was active, his mind was working. His mind was sufficiently active to make and execute a plan. Narrator makes a plan. His plan was that as soon as his feet hit the bottom, he would make a big jump, come to the surface, lie flat, and then he will kick water to reach to the side of the pool. So during first time we can see that narrator is fearful, but his mind is active. Now when he is going toward the bottom, it was known to him that the depth of that end is 9 feet. But it seemed to him as 90 feet because it took a long time for him to reach the bottom, and before he reached bottom, his lungs were also ready to burst. Anyway, he reached bottom. His feet touched bottom. Narrator made a jump but came up slowly. When he had made the plan, then he had thought that when he will make a big jump, he will suddenly come up like a cork. But this did not happen. He came up but slowly, and generally this happens because there is an opposite force that functions, that works in the water. When he came near the surface, by that time he was suffocating, and lastly his eyes and nose came out of the water, but not the mouth. The mouth was still in the water. He wanted to hit water with his legs, but the legs were hanging like dead weights, as if they are paralyzed and rigid. And then again he began to go towards the bottom. Now, for second time he is going towards the bottom. When he was going toward the bottom for the second time, he lost all his breath. His lungs ached, head throbbed, and he was getting dizzy. He had to remind himself of not forgetting the strategy of hitting the bottom and coming up. So we can see here that for the first time his mind was very active. His mind was so active that he was in a position to make a plan also. But during the second time, his mind is getting inactive, and so he has to remind himself not to forget the plan which he had made during the first time. Then, when he reached near the bottom, he opened his eyes and he saw that there was complete darkness. He got fully seized by the terror. During first time he was frightened, he was fearful. But now during second time he was terror stricken. There is a difference between fearfulness and terror stricken. When a person is fearful, he can think, he can understand. But when a person is terror stricken, he has no understanding, he is not in a position to think. So during this second time, when narrator is going toward the bottom, he was terror stricken. Only his heart and pounding head were symbolic of his life. Other body parts were not working. And then his feet touched the bottom. He gathered all strength, hit the bottom, but the jump made no difference. The reason was that he was so exerted, he was so tired that he had no strength. And as I told you that his body parts were also not working, his arms and legs wouldn't move. After making an effort to jump, he came up, but again he came up slowly. He reached near the surface of the water. Eyes and nose came out of the surface of water, but mouth was still in the water. And then again he started for the third time. Now you see that the experience of third time will be totally different from the experience of first and second time. For first and second time, narrator was making effort. He was making efforts to protect himself. But now, during third time when he is going towards the bottom, he stopped all his efforts. He felt relaxed. He felt relaxed. Blackness swept over his brain. And now he has no fear, no terror, no pain. For the first time, he was fearful. For the second time, he was terror-stricken. But now he has no fear, no terror, no pain. He was quiet and peaceful. He felt as if he is floating up in the space. He felt as if he is in the tender arms of the mother. And then he got fainted. When narrator came back to senses, he found himself lying beside the pool. He was vomiting. People had surrounded him. The boy who had thrown him into the pool was also there, and he was giving his excuse. Narrator was taken to the locker room. He took rest there for several hours, and then he walked back to his home. He was feeling weakness. His legs were trembling. He couldn't eat that night. This experience was like a bad dream, a horrible dream for him. A haunting fear persisted in his heart, and after that, he never went back to the pool. He always feared of water. He always avoided to go near any source of water. and effect of this misadventure that had occurred in the YMCA swimming pool lasted on narrator's mind for few years. And then, after few years, narrator had again a desire to learn swimming. And behind this there was a reason. When narrator saw others enjoying different water activities, then he too had a strong desire of enjoying those activities. The activities like this fishing, activities like canoeing, activities like boating, and activities like swimming. There are many other water activities like surfing, rafting, and all those water activities are highly enjoyable. Whenever narrator saw other people enjoying those activities, then he too had a desire to enjoy those activities. And so he decided to learn swimming. As the terror had gripped him firmly, he could not enjoy these activities. Because for enjoying these activities, it was essential for him to learn swimming. The reason was that whenever he went near any source of water, the legs were becoming paralyzed and the terror was grasping his heart. And so he decided to learn swimming and he hired an instructor. The instructor built Douglas a swimmer in pieces. It means that the instructor trained Douglas in different phases. Mainly in 3 phases he gave Douglas the training of swimming. The first phase began in the month of October. The instructor attached a rope to the belt and took through a pulley that ran on an overhead cable. Then Douglas was allowed to go back and forth across the pool many times for several weeks. Each time, when Douglas was in the middle of the pool, then instructor was relaxing rope a little and narrator was going underwater. He was going underwater and then he was realizing the same old terror which he had experienced when he was drowning in the YMCA swimming pool. After a practice of 3 months, narrator succeeded to overcome this fear to some extent. In second phase, instructor taught him the process of inhalation and exhalation. Instructor gave him training how to put face under water and exhale, and then raise nose out of water and inhale. Narrator repeated this exercise hundreds of times. Gradually, narrator shed part of the fear that seized him when his head went under the water. So this was the second phase of the training, inhalation and exhalation. In the third phase, instructor gave him the training to kick water with legs. At first, his legs refused to walk. The same old feeling was coming to his mind, that he was feeling as if his legs have become paralyzed. But gradually they relaxed. Narrator did practice for weeks. In this way, piece by piece, instructor built Douglas a swimmer. Instructor perfected Douglas in all pieces Then in the month of April, he had began his training in the month of October, and by month of April he got perfected in each piece. Instructor asked Douglas to dive off and swim independently. In this way, by April, instructor had finished his work, but Douglas's work was not finished. Douglas feels as if he has some residual fear. Narrator, after he learned swimming in April, continued to practice alone in the swimming pool till July. He had learned swimming in the month of April. After that, for 3 more months, he continued to practice alone in the swimming pool, and this practice by him was done till the end of July. Whenever terror came, he confronted it by asking it sarcastically, in a satirical manner, in a taunting manner. Whenever he was feeling some fearfulness, he was asking his fear that what it can do him. So, for removal of his residual fear, the first thing what he did was that he practiced to swim alone in the swimming pool till the end of July. After this, he swam 2 miles across the Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire from Triggs Island to Stamp-Act Island. He swam across the distance of 2 miles from Triggs Island to Stamp-Act Island in all style of swimming: crawl, breaststroke, side stroke, backstroke, in all the ways he swam. Yet he thinks that some residual fear he is even having now. So, to eradicate the residual fear, narrator swam across to the other shore of Warm Lake, which was considered as a difficult place for swimming. And when he successfully swam across, then he shouted with joy that he had conquered his fear of water. Now he was fully confident that he has learned swimming. He has no fear. He has conquered his fear of water. So this was William O. Douglas's experience, and as I told you in the beginning that the lesson gives us some important message. We can learn something from this lesson, and the things which we can learn from this lesson is that there is terror only in the fear of death. As I told you in the beginning, that the terror or the fear is only in the fear of death. It is not in the death. The death is peaceful. The death is quiet. Terror lies in the fear of death. And so, all we have to fear is the fear itself. Another message which we get from this lesson is that any goal can be achieved by means of a sincere effort and a strong determination. If we have a strong determination, if we have a sincere effort, then we can achieve any goal. So, this was the lesson, and this lesson is very important from examination point of view. So now particularly I have discussed all the important areas, and for examination purpose we should have a look, we should have a glance on these areas. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot.